Yeah, man. Hey, hey, and we're back. I'm gonna rush the intro because I got a comment saying that my intros are too long, and that kind of made me insecure, to be honest. Someone was on YouTube was like, just get to the point. I was like, damn, okay, that's painful. But like, yeah, so I'm gonna try to make the intros shorter because I do know like they're quite long. And even now, this is already too long. So you're back. We're back. You know where we are. This is a class. This is where things happen. This is where information is shared. And I, as always, I'm your lovely host, Tammy the Creator. And you're watching and you're tuned in to the Back of the Class show. Now, before we kick things up, before we kick things off, English. Before we kick things off, make sure to subscribe to the channel. There's a YouTube channel, there's Spotify, there's Apple Podcast. Just subscribe anywhere you feel comfortable with, or anywhere that you watch this shit. And also make sure to like turn on your notification bells. Make sure to follow the socials. You can follow the show at Faculty Class Show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And you can follow me personally at Dami_the Creator on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And before that being said, let's dance. Okay, so I actually had a different plan for today than what I'm actually about to talk about. The plan was to like kind of make this like a personal episode, like a just like a jokey banter episode. I was gonna give a story time about how I caught feelings for someone in like less than 15 days, 25 days max. I got feelings for someone like 25 days max, even less actually, less than that. And it was like because like I met the person randomly, but you know they were gonna like leave the country in like 25 days or some shit. They're gonna leave the country like 25 days, and then I got feelings after like the first week because like the person was fire. The person was fire. Well, probably is. The person is fire. Probably still are, you know. But the person was fire. Like the vibes are immaculate. Like the energy was right. Just like good vibes, good intelligence, good conversations. Just like let's go, let's get it. I was gonna talk about that, but then I fell into a rabbit hole as I usually do. I went into a rabbit hole of several think pieces about racism, anti-blackness, and capitalism, and how like I mean obviously they're all connected. Everything is connected, but I finished like a rabbit hole of like how those are specifically connected and how it was more or less quote unquote created and the reasons behind it and whatnot. So before I get into it, I feel I should share that with y'all. I thought it would be like a nice episode to like get people thinking, you know, to like turn the knobs in their head because you know summertime makes everyone dumb. And I'm really sad because I really wanted to talk about some nonsense. Because I realized I went this entire summer without participating in the summer madness of talking about nonsense like, oh, who should sit in the front seat, your mom or your girl? I low-key wanted to like talk about some useless shit. I wanted to be like a man with a podcast for a second. Because look, I love the path that I've taken. I love the whole the like intelligence and that whatever that I'm giving the like the episodes. And I really appreciate that people are liking it as well. But I also want to be stupid sometimes, you know? Like sometimes I want to be a man, you know? Like sometimes I want to be a man in a patriarchal society. But unfortunately I didn't get the chance yet, at least. Maybe there's still a couple weeks of summer, so maybe. But anyways, I digress. So I fell into a rabbit hole. And just a disclaimer, I don't know if I agree or disagree with the entirety of the rabbit hole yet. Some things I was like, that makes sense. And some things I was like, doesn't make too much sense. But like, as everything is, there's always the good parts and the bad parts. So I hope you guys take away something from this, or like whatever you can take away from this. So let's start with like, the basic summary of this rabbit hole was that racism was invented as a tool to control white people and also as a tool to like further the capitalist agenda. And at first when I also heard that, I was like, wait, this doesn't seem right. Like this seems incomplete. It is incomplete, 100% it is incomplete, but it also has some truth to it. So basically the dance is, that racism was invented at a time in America, in the US, Europe, US, whatever, at a time where capitalism was kind of on the rise, but capitalism wasn't gaining as much traction because you see the thing with capitalism, how capitalism works. I'm sure we all know how capitalism works, but the idea of capitalism is there's a company, there's a company. The company has workers, and every worker gives their time, gives their work, energy to the company to make the company more money. And the thing is, everyone theoretically gives a different amount of profit to the company. But the whole idea of capitalism is that even though everyone gives a certain amount of profit to the company, the people who get mostly compensated for those profits are the people at the top. So then we have the bottom ladder workers not making as much as they actually should be because like they are actually bringing kind of like the most money to the company, realistically speaking. But so instead the money goes to the higher ups. Now, as you can imagine, if this goes on for too long, if this had gone on for too long, people will think. People will be like, wait a minute. Something ain't right. And the people at the top clock this and they're like, wait, we need to do some shit to distract these people. And now comes racism. So essentially what happened was, at some point, because before a certain point in time, the whole concept of race didn't exist. People were just people. The whole concept of like, are you black? Are you white? Are you this? Are you that? Wasn't really a thing. Yes, you look different, but that's pretty much it. You just look different. There was the whole concept of like tribalism and things like that, but like that's a completely different. Yeah, that's a completely different thing. That's outside of what race is. So at some point, the people at the top are like, fear mongering is a good tool. So then, racism came in. The concept of race came in, and it's like, okay, they basically told the white people, like the working class and the lower class white people, like, yo, look at this. There's only so much available. There's only so much this and that available, and if we're not careful, all of this will drown out. Like the scarcity, the idea of scarcity. So the idea of scarcity, the burden of scarcity was basically placed on black people. They're like, so if these black people, if these people of color keep gaining social mobility and keep climbing up the ladder, they're going to continue taking from you poor white people. And because of that distracted the working class and the lower class white people. Like, wait, I ain't just on the come up. I'm trying to get to where them man are. Like, I'm trying to become rich. And then you coming to take from my shit is preventing me from getting up there. And that way, those distractions, this was very easy to do as well because there was already some level of hate towards black people because of like slavery and things like that. There was already that level of hate towards black people, which was already present in the US and European countries. So, well, hate, yes. Also, like just the idea that the black people were lesser than white people was already present in society, and so that made it a lot easier for like this notion to run, for these things to run in society. So essentially, the rich people convinced the poor white people that look, if the black people keep getting social mobility and they keep climbing up the ladder, there will be less resources for you, and you're trying to get to where I am, and I want you to get to where I am. So then you gotta take care of them, and that's how insert a new level of racism. That's how that started. That's how the beef started. Well, not beef, like that's how that shit started. And on top of that, so like there were different levels to this. There's different. So like there's a fear mongering by using the news and newspaper and like just talking about it, like just word of mouth, being like just fostering the hate and fostering the fear of black people stealing, well, quote unquote, stealing from them, even though black people were literally just working to also become fine, like people who are doing well in society, like just to survive. Really, that was really just to survive. And so there was the fear mongering part, which was navigating and pushed by the news. It's still being pushed by the news. It's still very much present. And then there was also white religion. So white religion was also a very key part to all of this, because then, because through white religion, and by white I mostly mean white Christianity. So like through white Christianity, you got things like white Jesus, and you got this space that essentially indoctrinates people and teaches people to follow without questioning. Because once you build a space where people are getting used to the idea of like faith and belief and like blind followership, then they stop to think for themselves and they start to just follow the general consensus of like, there's this person who's a higher power, and because this person is a higher power, I should not question said person. And through that, by pushing this idea through religion, it was very easy to like trickle this idea down to the part of like, so if this person is doing better in society, this person is richer than me, this person is, just doing better than me in life, I should follow this person without questioning what they say. And so if then people are telling me, hey, black people is the problem, black people must be the problem. They must be. So you put that and you put this, you put the fear mongering in the news, and you put the indoctrination that has been achieved through religion, through Christianity. You add those together and it was easy peasy lemon squeezy. There was no problems with hating black people, and that just like made things easier and whatnot. And then there was also like the intellectual spaces that were created to like foster think pieces, but really these think pieces were just spaces where it was normalized to like hate on black people and to foster anti-blackness and to like push continuously lies about black people. And so with all of this, like it became so much easier for like racism to exist, and because of that, it also took a lot of the attention away from the capitalists, away from like the people, the rich people, the one percenters. And the one percenters continued to benefit from the labor of poor white people and black people, and continuously became richer and richer. And it's very interesting because it very much still exists in today's society. Because basically like the videos and like the papers that I read about this, all of this was pretty much set in like the 1600s, according to the papers. And it's very crazy, very interesting to like see that, yeah, now in 2023, and all of these things are very much still valid. And I think it's even more interesting and sad, because not only are they valid in like white spaces, they are even valid in black spaces as well. Because in the black community, we have what I like to call the black capitalists, the ones who believe that if, they just want to get to become millionaires and whatnot. And it's like, you do understand that to become someone that high up in society, to become someone with such amounts of power, wealth, and just quote unquote financial freedom, you need to not just be able, you need to actively participate in the subjugation and in the abuse and in the exploitation of people. And that is mostly going to be people of color. So I find it really interesting when there's like black people who have like such dreams, such hopes of grandeur. And it's just like, I understand. We live in a capitalist society, and like that's literally the goal of society in general, because we need people to have that goal so that they can work harder and harder and harder so that they can someday become millionaires and billionaires. That's the whole dream that society and capitalism sells to you. But it's also like, take a moment, take a step back, think about what this could mean. And also, even in addition to all of this, like an extra layer of like, oh yeah, something else that I saw in the papers and the videos was how all of this ties into like politics and ties into like police brutality as well. So just to, like touch on the police part. Oh no, actually, the politics should come first. So like touch on the politics part, like our elections are run. So like because of all the fear mongering that is like being put in place, because of like all the fear mongering put through the news and the anti-blackness and everything, it became a lot easier for like the capitalist right to hold on to power, because then what aligns with the capitalist right is like the idea of racism. And so because of that, like if they convinced enough white people, they convinced the majority white population to vote for them to like keep them in power, and because of that they could continuously make laws and just like make regulations that would increase the profits of capitalism. Like the whole thing of like what's it called shit, English, I can't remember the word exactly, but essentially by having capitalist right wingers in power, there's more and more regulations that increases the profits of companies, and through that increases the profits of like the 1% of like the CEOs, the investors, and yada yada yada, and blah blah blah. And at the same time, it subjugates black people, because that's literally that's the trade here. That's the trade. These lawmakers create laws to increase the chances of becoming rich while keeping the black people down, and that's the incentive. That's the reason why the majority of white population was voting for these people. And at the same time, these people like making laws and making things easier for the police states to like subjugate black people. So like that's why in places like the US there's such a huge amount of black people in jail, because once you like go to jail, once you're a felon and shit, you essentially lose the right to choose. You lose the right to vote, so you cannot contribute to the changes that you might want to make. And so because of the high incarceration rates, because of the wrongful incarceration rates, because of like just essentially just dumping black people in prison, there's even a smaller population of black people who are able to vote. There's a smaller population of black people who are able to enact a change that would be beneficial to not just black people really, but like to general society, and just like all of these things just like tied up and just connect and yada 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 and blah blah blah. And I know, and all of this I pretty much knew already, but like it was just put in a very interesting way, which I cannot replicate right now. And when I said I disagree with some parts, I must disagree with the parts where at some point in like these videos and articles, it was starting to sound like an excuse for white supremacy. It was starting to sound like, oh, white supremacy isn't the problem, capitalism is. But it's like capitalism is white supremacy and white supremacy is capitalism. They are one and the same. They feed into each other. They feed off of each other. That's where I kind of was like, wait, okay, this is starting to sound like white supremacy apologist type nonsense and whatnot. So I was like, I don't fuck with this like that. But there was a lot of truth to it. And so yeah, I'm gonna say something else. But as faithful to habit, my memory is pretty shit. And it's super early in the morning as well, so like I'm pretty tired. But yeah, I hope, I just wanted to put this out there. Well, not mostly for like I know my niggas, I know y'all know all of this shit already. But I also realized that I have quite a bit of a white audience as well, apparently. And I feel like this could be, because I was having a conversation with some people the other day, some white people the other day, and it really dawned on me how little like a lot of white people understand about like the whole concept of racism and how things happen, which is very interesting as well. It's very interesting as well, because like a lot of white people will understand everything about anti-Semitism, about anti-queerness, about honestly even the most ridiculous of things, about blonde versus brunette beef. But as soon as it becomes a conversation about black people, it's like, oh no, I don't know, oh confusion, oh no. It's like yeah, it's anyways, that's for another day. But essentially I just want to like share this real quick, also because I was like, do I want to share about my personal life on here? Maybe not. And I was like, this could be like a quick episode, and also like a way to like just trigger something in the minds of the white people who ever watch this or who watches or whatever. And so yeah, with that being said, that is gonna be the end of today's episode. I have no idea how long it's been, but whatever. And like always, I have been your lovely host, Dami the creator. And with all that being said, make sure to subscribe, make sure to put on notification bells, leave a comment, leave a like, interact with me, do whatever you feel like. Let me know how you feel about the show, let me know how you feel about the episode, and whatnot. And also follow the socials at Faculty Class Show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And follow me personally at Dami_the creator on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And like always, guys, educate yourself on anti-blackness and on the sufferings and the pain of black people, and in general just become better people for society, just become better members of society. And let's fight for a better world. Let's try to create a better space for people. And I'll catch you guys next week. Bye.